Harold, what are you trying to do with the humanities?
I think the way that you pose that question, with all due respect.
I was pretty sure my accusations were not going to be blindly accepted.
I mean, conflates two issues. One is the issue of the urgency and the seriousness of the questions that you're asking, and the second is the text that you're using to try to address them, right? So there's the question of, does everybody need to take Western Civ as we took it and learn the torch theory of civilization, right? Greece to Rome to Italy to England to the United States, or whatever version of that you want to tell. And speaking as someone who loved that class, or are there important, serious questions that are part of being an engaged human being in a society that depends upon your effort for its perpetuation, that you need somewhere to have a space to address? And the form of those questions changes, but the seriousness of them doesn't. And I think we have, in some sense, failed to communicate to our students, and this was where vulnerability comes in. And what I really learned from Jacques Weintraub was, your kids have to see why you care. And if you're standing up there saying stuff, they're not gonna care. And what he did for us was show us, he believed that history was what stood between civilization and barbarism, and that it was his job to prevent anything like the rise of National Socialism from ever happening again, and we were his means. So there is a kind of urgency to that task that I think is important. So if you care about anti-racism, or if you care about income inequality, or if you care about feminism, and you can communicate why, and not just, I say, take refuge in the language of critique, then the humanities are vibrant. And so I think, So I think what we try to do is communicate that to our, when I interview, I've learned so much in my time at Davidson about higher education that I didn't know before. When I talk to every potential faculty member. It's a tradition at this small institution. So every potential job candidate I get to meet. And I ask completely different questions than I used to ask. So I ask, what do you work on? I work on early childhood literacy. Why does it matter to you? I want to ensure that every American child learns how to read by the time they're in 3rd grade. How, in an introductory psychology course, are you going to communicate that to your freshmen? How are you going to share that passion with freshmen who know nothing? And if they can tell me how they would do that, what intro psychology course they would design so that happened, then they would be a great professor at Davidson. If they can't, if they're going to teach somebody else's course or use somebody else's syllabus, or, then it's not going to work.